What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one, I just want to look at where we are through the first 4 weeks of the season, right? Quarter of the way through the season, and Colts look real good. If I told you before the season, which I did try to tell people we were going to be 3-1 after 4 games, then I think people would have been ecstatic, right? The way we've looked, we can compete with anybody. Obviously, coming off a bad loss, the reactions to this video are going to be a little crazy, I assume, but nonetheless, after 4 weeks, I think what's been proven is that we can compete with anybody, right? I want to go through some of the numbers here, talking about the team. So far we are 3-1, 3-0 in the AFC with a plus 40 point differential. So through the first 3 weeks, looking real good. 3-0 in the AFC is important for tiebreakers, which we'll get into that here in just a little while when we look at the standings. Looking at EPA per play on offense, number 3 in total offense EPA per play, number 5 in passing offense EPA per play, number 4 in rushing offense EPA per play. So all around, just top 5 all around, doing a really solid job, really well balanced offense. And then on defense, of course, the Rams game affects these numbers. They had the best outing against us so far. Number 13 in total defense EPA per play, number 10 in pass defense EPA per play, and number 16 in rushing defense EPA per play. So overall, definitely some things to fix on defense. We had a video yesterday talking about Xavier Howard and what we needed to do there, and being able to fix the defense in different ways. We've talked about the pass rush. We talked about the secondary. I'm not going to continue to harp on those in this video. We have separate videos for that. But going through the standings, the reason 3-0 in the AFC makes a big deal is because at least right now, Colts are at 3-1. Jaguars also at 3-1. Both teams are 2-0 on the road and 1-1 on the road. Both teams currently 1-0 in the division. Right? If that stays the same through the year and both teams win the same amount of games in the AFC through the season, through the division this season, then you look at the conference record. Conference record for the Colts is 3-0. Right now, Jaguars are 1-1. Right? That one loss in the conference is why we are currently the leader in the division, even though both teams are at 3-1. So very important right there. And then the reason we need to keep winning. Right? Not only the Jaguars in our division, but you look at the Bills. Bills are 4-0. They might actually go 17-0. They're a good team, great team, and they also have the easiest schedule in the NFL. You look at their schedule, it's really I don't know when you think they're going to lose, just looking at their schedule. Then you look at the Chargers, 3-1, but they are now down Rashawn Slater for the season, and Joe Alt. He's going to be out for a few weeks, so we'll see how that affects them. It certainly affected them against the Giants. They ended up losing that game against the Giants. Gave the Giants their first win of the year, and Chargers take their first loss. So far, they're 3-1. Steelers are 3-1. Colts are 3-1. Jaguars are 3-1. And then you have the Bengals, who will continue to fall. Chiefs and the Broncos at 2-2, who will probably continue to rise. And then you have the Patriots at 2-2, who will probably be a little up and down. Right, and then you go to the 1-3 teams with the Raiders kicking that off. They play a angry Colts team this week. Kind of feel bad for the Raiders, kind of don't, because it is what it is. Back in Lucas Oil Stadium, let's blow out a team we should probably blow out anyways. Okay, so looking at it, first 4 games of the year, had, of course, the Dolphins 33-8. Broncos, we win 29-28. Titans 41-20, and then lose to the Rams 27-20. Now, some good numbers here. Passing yards, Daniel Jones is number 3 in the NFL in passing yards with 1,078. And then of the full-time starters in the NFL, he's number 3 in yards per attempt. And we have Lamar Jackson at 9.2, Sam Darnold at 9, and then Daniel Jones at 8.9. Okay, and then from the rushing perspective, Jonathan Taylor, 414 yards, which leads the NFL. James Cook is behind him at 401. Travis Etienne behind him at 394. So unfortunately, the 53-yard rush touchdown gets taken off the board. or else he would have, what would that be, 467 yards and 4 touchdowns. So would have been able to create some distance there. Unfortunately, that doesn't count. So 414 and 3 rushing touchdowns. Now, from a passing perspective, Michael Pittman Jr. leads the team in receptions with 21 and has 234 yards, has been able to get into the end zone 3 times this year, which is great. Nice to see a nice bounce back year from Michael Pittman Jr. after dealing with the back injury last year. And then in terms of the leader in receiving yards for us, we have Tyler Warren, who has 19 catches for 263 yards. Doesn't have a receiving touchdown, but obviously as a fullback was able to get into the end zone this past week and get his first NFL touchdown. So nice to see the rookie be able to get into the end zone. I expect the receiving touchdowns to start coming at some point, right? Teams continue to let Michael Pittman into the end zone with Alec Pierce coming back. At some point, I think something will open up there for Tyler Warren, and we'll be able to get him going in terms of receiving touchdowns, and that'll kind of even itself out. But so far through the year, I think Colts are doing a good job. Offensively, incredible. Again, Daniel Jones made his first real mistakes as a Colts quarterback with the 2 interceptions. And, the first interception, you can't take that one away. That one is what it is. At the end of the game, it's unfortunate. Obviously, on the play through the interception, he should have checked it down to Jonathan Taylor, right? A guy that's been a check down guy forever, and should have just taken the check down right there. Jonathan Taylor had some room to operate. We had all 3 timeouts. A clear mistake right there, and that is what it is. Should have never been in that situation. We should have had 34 points at that point. Daniel Jones should have finished the day with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but he ends up with 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And again, just got to correct all the mistakes, all the penalties. Hopefully we can get Makinsavez back. Hopefully we get Alec Pierce back, which is what I expect. We'll see what happens with Makinsavez, and will we be able to get him back? Will we not? That'll be something that we're looking at through this week, and hopefully we're able to get him back. Sorely need him. Looking at the grades and looking at some of the tape from the game, Dalton Tucker, I thought was going to be able to come in as somebody who has 7 games of experience as a starter. I thought he'd be able to come in and at least be serviceable enough to be able to get us through the game. And again, we still should have won the game despite Dalton Tucker on the offensive line. But man, we need Makinsavez back. And I'll tell you what, just 1 game of not having Makinsavez tells you that as he continues to get older and we get to a point where eventually he's going to need to be paid, you got to start constructing these contracts in a way where eventually you can pay Makinsavez. We cannot continue to roll anybody else out there. We need him to stay healthy. Very imperative. Going to need Bortolini to stay healthy. Offensive line really doing a good job this year. And need that to continue. As long as you can win in the trenches, you have a chance. So offensively, defensively, that's where we need to win. We need to, obviously on the defensive side, we need Latu to continue to step up. Coming off a game where he had 9 pressures, we need him to continue to step up, be the edge rusher that we need on this team, so that we can, also open things up for the middle with DeForest Buckner. We also going to need to find an answer for Xavier Howard and what can we do there to get him off the field. So going to be interested to see what we decide to do through this week. But again, a lot of content coming. What's your thoughts on the Colts' first 4 weeks of the season? I'd like to see where you guys are at, right? Where you were before the season, where you are now. What are you thinking? Where are you at? You let me know down in the comment section. Would love to hear from you guys. And of course, if you enjoy the content, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.